Well, hello, hello, hello. Are you ready? Ready to hear more about cash flow, building your cash flow, and looking at some strategies as we're going into 2023. We're leaving 2022, going into 2023, and it is swiftly approaching and running on our heels. We are going to be in and out before we know it. But are we ready? Are we prepared? And we have again our wonderful guest who is going to tell us all about that, Miss Rita Oliver. And we will be right back just in a few moments to get started with our talk for the evening. Well, we are back, and of course, I see everybody coming on and listening in. Make sure that you like and share all this great information that we will be hearing on this broadcast because we have none other than the money strategist herself, Miss Rita Oliver, and she is just a guru and just that money coach that everybody needs to talk to. And I love when she always says, we control the flow. So without further ado, we're going to bring her out of the virtual green room onto the stage. All right, Miss Rita. So great to
Hi.
have you. Hello.
Hello. Hey, Ayanna, how are you? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. So what's been going on in your world since we're on part two?
On part two. Well, on part two, I've been getting calls from people, had some requests to do a private webinar for a family. And then I had a phone call actually today from somebody that I know, and he wanted to talk to me about collaborating on working with me in the federal retirement in what I do. And I was telling him what I'm working on is to get onto the General Services Administration federal schedule with my federal retirement course so I could be selected to do workshops. So he said he was working with somebody to try to learn the federal system. And he said, I am willing to fly there and pay you for you to teach me what to do. Teach me about the system. And so, because he had some information, some contacts. So we're going to talk about that. And I told him, I said, it's I kind of told him, Ayanna, that, pretty much there's standards on, people have a 4 or 5 day seminar now. And I said, I have something totally different because I just don't believe everybody wants to sit for 4 or 5 days when somebody can teach it to you in half a day.
Sounds good. Absolutely. People want to condense. They want the power pack information. They want condensation. Condense that thing and get out.
So that's what I have. So it took me several years to put it all together because I told him, I said, what I'll be teaching is what I did. It's a 7-step to take you from the date to sitting down in your sitting on the balcony in your house, enjoying balcony outside, enjoying a cocktail, knowing your money is tight.
Okay, that's all right. we say we can drink a little better and sleep a little tighter when we know that money is right.
Right and tight. And I've done everything. I've dotted the I's, crossed the T's, and you know that you're okay. I told him, I said, that's what I have. And I've condensed it down. That's to the awesome. Bottom line. So
that is awesome. So all right. Well, I know people need to hear more about that retirement, and we have people who are in that space and who are already retired from federal government or retire, from all those types of just retired period, and they want to know what to do. Yeah, the private sector. You are queen of that.
Okay. Yes. And thank you. And thank you for having me back and working with me on my schedule. And, Ayanna, it's really because just in conversations I've had in the last few days, people really do need to be more knowledgeable about their retirement options, and particularly those that are employed. you definitely in the private sector need to be more in tune with your retirement benefits and options that are being offered by your company, your corporation. You really do, because they can make a change on you. It's what I call, Ayanna, they pull that book out on you. It's a book you don't know about. It's a book. It's a book you don't know about, and
Yes.
that book makes a change on you, because I was made aware of a change the other day here from by a company, from someone I know. And when I read it and went through it and I talked through it with them, I said, wow. I said, I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing. And I said, the benefit is not to the employee, it is to them in terms of cost. But because what part of it said in there was they were going to they wanted some people to accelerate their retirement based on what they need, what they had to do, the company, in terms of the formula, because the formula included the federal government interest rate, which used to be 0 for a long time, and now it's 3 3/4%. I told them they don't want to pay all that money in there. They don't want to do it.
Right. That's why a lot of companies, and I know even the public sector, even when looking at like the Virginia retirement or North Carolina retirement, a lot of those went hybrid, because they used to be very similar to an old school pension, but they have gone hybrid, where if they're going to contribute rock bottom, and if you don't contribute anything, all you come out is with, like rock bottom.
Correct. Because it's not and the federal government had a defined pension benefit plan, a traditional, an annuity. They have taken that, a lot of them, and I was reading the other day, and gone to a cash-based pension plan, which is like a defined benefit, but it's much different, because they are not putting money in there all the time. Because if they're saying I have a loss, then they're not contributing any money in there. And you will get something like an annuity, but it's not as much as you would get, because they are not putting money in every pay period like a traditional. Yes.
Correct. And that's what I said. People have gone to that hybrid, and that hybrid wasn't just for at the season that we're in with COVID. It went hybrid with the finance down to the bottom line of what the companies and what the government is going to put out. It's like, how can we save our bottom line as well? Yeah.
How can we continue to get our bonuses at the end of the year?
Correct.
And not put all of this in here. So
and you figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. Which then leads us into our conversation, because this now, we are October 28th, so 3 days left in October, then November 30, December 31. So we're talking 65 days here. At the end of the year. And a lot of people are getting ready to make that decision to go out at the end of the year for their retirement. But if you get a letter that tells you what they're getting ready to do about something, you may have a different situation and may not be able to go. But then it also could be that once you lock in, then they may not let you change. I don't know. It could be. So therefore, that's why it's so important to have started early. Therefore, if whatever change anybody made anywhere, it doesn't impact you. That's why income planning and preparation early is better for everybody. That's what's key here, is income planning and preparation early. Because what happens is the majority of people, everybody I talk to in the financial coaching, even insurance industry, say that people, Rita, come down to when they 2 years out wanting to see something, and when they do see it, it's not what they want to see, because they look at that bottom line number and they know they can't work off of that number. Live off that number.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and it is. And I mean, of course, we'll go back and say, this is what we said, planning month, but you're right. You have to plan so much, because we do often find ourselves behind the 8 ball on a lot of things, because, sometimes community and situationally, we don't plan ahead. We don't understand how, and we don't sit down and talk to anybody about it. We just say, okay, it'll happen. Very, very similar to sometimes, even when helping people on my side with the insurance. Oh, well, I'll get to it. And then getting to it produces where what you could have gotten much larger face values when you're younger, it now turns into you're paying double, triple sometimes to just get enough to maybe cover the cost of a basic funeral. So there, and the other thing is too, people of us not knowing that money can be built, like how you say you start early. Money can be built in your 401ks and TSPs and all that, but money can be built and garnered in life insurance, and that side is the tax-free side.
Correct.
It's like it's just an educational and a really learning curve that we really have to front load now and just salvage what we have. If we haven't started saving, or we're not where we need to be, then we're going to then maybe have to figure out, well, what else can we do with our hands to build up some money to save somewhere. So we're gonna pull in and talk about our how to save our money, because those are some of the topics we were looking at hitting tonight, and how to build that cash flow. So and this inflation piece, I have a picture that I'll insert and talk about in a moment, but you go ahead and get started with that, because it's amazing with the inflation. The inflation is not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Because somebody asked me today, say, well, what will happen if I take out a HELOC, with my house? So I said, well, it's a loan. You got to bring all the stuff to the table as if you were buying again. You got to bring everything to them. And then I said, and you got a payment. And I said, if you have a mortgage payment, the HELOC is an additional payment. So, and the rates for that have increased. So can you afford to do it? Can you afford to do it?
And so with that HELOC, could you explain what it is?
Yes.
Explain a little bit about that.
It is a home equity line of credit. It is, home values have increased. And of course, in some cases, they've come down. So probably even if with them decreasing, that has created equity. And equity is something that you own in your home. So that's enticing people to start taking and tapping into that equity to get cash. Because that's what she said to me. She said, people in my neighborhood are just, cashing out and putting in new turf grass, putting in a pool, all of this using the equity. And I said, yeah, equity is your ownership in that. Yes. But if you want to take out the cash, take out some equity in your home, that is a loan.
Correct. So you'll have two mortgage payments.
If you don't own it outright.
Absolutely.
If you don't own it outright, you'll have the mortgage payment you pay all the time, and you have that home equity loan or line of credit payment that you'll have to make monthly. And the terms of that can be the same as the terms of mortgage. Usually the max I've seen is about 15 years. So if you already sitting on a 30 and you go and get something for 15 to afford the payment, you got to look at this. You really now are impacting your cash flow. You impact your cash flow big time now. You have decreased it so much more. Because I got to say, people not going in there, Ayanna, to get $5,000. They're not.
No. If they can match almost the value of what's in there, if they've been paying on a home and paying it down, they almost want to basically pull out what a home was probably in the 90s, get that loan and do it's going to be, 5 or 6 figures if they want to.
Yes. So you're impacting your household cash flow now, impacting the cash that you should be able to put into investments like insurance, into an annuity, into a 401k, into an IRA, into a savings account, money market, CDs. I've seen stuff now, Ayanna, where my bank sent me something. 20-month CD is 4.75%.
Oh, that is amazing.
20 months.
That's
minimum $1,000 to put in.
That's amazing, because normally it was down to nothing.
Yes. You got to leave it in there for 20 months. So, but that's another avenue to save. It is. I mean, if you throw $1,000 and just leave it for 20 months, you will make you some money on it. That ain't bad.
Right.
No, it's not bad at all. So, but back to this with the cash flow, which we have defined as That is the amount of money coming into your household, and then also minus the amount that's going out. The positive is that you have a positive cash flow, a surplus to use for other things. Negative means you're overspending. So when we look today at the fact that, as what we just said, we've got inflation, you got rising gas, you got rising food prices that are going up every day. You can't even control that. You
No.
got interest rates going up on credit cards, on auto loans, mortgages, all of this. You really have to take the time and step back and look at, take a deep dive and take time following your money. Number one, take a deep dive following your, the money coming in and the money going out. As Ayanna says, my word says you control the flow, and you do. You do. If you want the inflow to be more, then you go do a side hustle. You sell some stuff. You get a part-time job. You do whatever if you want that to be more. And then the outflow is really where you have to control so that you continue to keep more of your money. That is the key here. 65 days until 2023. You know what you have done now for the last 300 days in 2022 and how you've managed your money. And so taking this 65 days, you can turn this around. And so, Ayanna, what I have is 3 ways what we got to do. Last time we talked about the ace in the hole. Okay. Yes. So I have something else now. Is that when I said you got to take a deep dive in there and spend time following your money, we need to have a 3D view of the 3D, okay, of our money. And so the first D is we got to detox. Okay. We got to detox our mind from limiting beliefs and overspending. Limiting beliefs. I said this the other day. When I coach people or I just talk or do a live, and one of the things I said, Ayanna, is that technology is a great thing. It's a great tool, and people love it with the phones, apps to do this and do that. And an app is just a tool to manage your money. I can manage my money in banks across the country. I can do it with the palm of my hand. But saving your money, living on less than you make, living on less than you earn, that right there is never going to change.
No, it's
because
not.
You got to have the money for the app to track.
Correct. Right.
The app to track. So we got to detox. We got to detox our mind from limiting beliefs. Because even though you do need to live on less than you make, less than you earn, you got to think and flip it that if I do this, I'm going to have abundance on the other side. Because I'm going to have more, Ayanna, in my household than I did before. Because you've been thinking, because if you've been living, and because limiting beliefs also means that you've been living to a limited belief. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have limited yourself in what you're able to do every month or not.
Correct.
Because you have no surplus. So living on less than you earn and less than you make will start to help you to build and change that mindset of having more. So we got to detox negative financial behaviors. We got to detox negative thoughts about our money. Because if you've been living paycheck to paycheck, you've normalized that's the way I live. And you don't want to come out. So we got to detox and change that belief to I'm not going to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Because the way you live today impacts how you will live tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you live paycheck to paycheck now, when you get in retirement, you're going to be paycheck to paycheck. So we got to detox these negative financial behaviors. They have got to go. Just like people, what to do? Do a cleanse in January with the, what is it?
The body cleanse.
The
body cleanse.
Yeah. So when you're doing that clean, you can start cleansing now with detoxing negative financial behaviors. No more hashtag no more paycheck to paycheck living. Hashtag no more overspending. Hashtag I'm gonna live on less than I make. Hashtag I'm gonna live on less than I earn. Hashtag I'm gonna spend time following my money.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sitting like, okay, just send me all the hashtags.
Okay,
Okay.
I will. I
Just send
will
them all.
send all the hashtag. I
You
will
know
send them to you. But detox. So when we detox, then that means we are taking stuff out. And so as you detox, you get clarity. You get some clarity. Because then you've taken out the negative stuff that's impacting you in a negative way. And then you get some clarity and you start to say, okay, well, how am I going to move forward? So
Yes.
then you decide you need to then, Ayanna, number 2, declutter.
Mm, okay.
Declutter. We need to
Declutter. I love it.
okay. So declutter is that's going in here now doing some repair and we've detoxed the negative behaviors. Now let's get some of these negative financial activities up out of here. Let's declutter. Okay, let's declutter those. Let's look at what we owe and who we owe and why we owe this. Let's look at that we are not saving any money and stuff and change that and move it to a positive. Let's declutter in our closets and sell some stuff to get us some money to put back in here. Declutter negative financial activity that you live in paycheck to paycheck. Start saying, I am going to have money left over after every paycheck to give me a peace of mind and a financial cushion. Okay?
Absolutely. And
So,
let me say this real quick, Miss Rita. I saw an article today that talked about a lady started after she moved away from home and couldn't participate in her family's annual clean out of their closets and stuff. She started selling things on like Poshmark and all of that. Not to give them, I don't get anything from them, but Poshmark and all of that. And she has made in a few years $450,000
yeah,
from selling stuff. And so then she got into the community of resale. So this is how sometimes your hobby can turn into your passion, and your
exactly.
passion can turn into your new paycheck because
Exactly.
she took that passion of reselling things, and now she puts in some of the high end things along with the things she buys and has amassed $450,000 in sales.
Absolutely.
So that
Absolutely.
upped her money.
That's it. It totally changed it for her because
Yeah.
she's decluttering. But we need to declutter these negative financial things out of here. That's why I said we need to spend time following the money because here's another negative thing. You are going to the grocery store, spending $500, and then you're eating out for $200, $700. If you're gonna eat out, why are you getting groceries?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
$700, $700.
Yeah.
Have some balance here. Declutter that negative behavior out of there. Okay. Then people hollering about gas. You can control your movement. You ain't got to go everywhere. You
Right.
control your movement. You
Absolutely.
know, right? You can do that. Then when you look at what you're spending on some of your entertainment, people got $300 cable bill. I don't understand that. I can't agree with that. I don't do that. So you need to look at those things there and get those things out of there. Decluttering these negative financial activities that are taking over that's making your bottom line a negative. Declutter it. What do you really need? Because you hear, get this, get this, get this. You ordering this from Amazon. You ordering this from Amazon. Half of it you really don't even need it. You probably end up sometimes it's just sitting there when you really could send it back and get your money back. What do you really need to live and run your household every month? What do you need? And when you look at it sometimes with Amazon, some of that stuff is really more expensive than you running up here to the dollar store or Walmart.
It is, because even in that insertion, okay, that's pushed out by people who are selling things, resellers,
Marketing.
and resale. Yeah, Amazon is just a conduit to
That's
get
it.
things, but they don't sell anything.
They're just a distributor.
They're a distributor, not a store. Right.
They got the logistics to distribute across the country, ground and air within 1 to 2 days. That's what they got. They got the network. That's it. That's what they got. They got the network. So we are detoxing the mental. Okay, we detox the mental. That's mindset. getting those limiting beliefs and those negative financial behaviors out of here, then we're going to declutter what we actually doing. We're going to declutter following the money. You got to look at it. Look at these expenses. You got to look at this credit card debt too. Some of you sitting here with 5, 6, 7 credit cards. You don't need but 1 or 2. Got Macy's, got Costco, American Express, you got Walmart card, Target card. You don't need all that. If you got a Visa or MasterCard, they'll spend everywhere.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, that's just another bill in there that you're paying. Even though you may say, well, Rita, it's not but $25 a month, but that's $25 a month that you could have. You put it over 12 months, what's that, $300? Yeah,
absolutely.
You can put it all in one place. Or really, if you get rid of it and pay it, you got cash. You can go to the store with cash and pay that with your debit card and be done with it. Be done with it. Decluttering these negative financial, because credit cards are a negative financial behavior. Yeah, you may need 1 or 2 in there and to travel to do this, and that's fine. But you don't need 7.
Yeah, and those interest rates finish
30%. 30%. They're going to 30%. 30%. So no, you don't need all that. So you need to declutter the negative financial activities. Then once we detox the behaviors, Ayanna, and then declutter the negative financial behavior. Once we really do that, because with detox, you got to be committed to it when you change your mindset.
Yeah.
You make a decision that I'm not doing this anymore. You're going to put the commitment to it. You're going to put the actions behind it. And the same thing with decluttering. Then once you detox and declutter, then you can dominate your dollars.
You said put the commitment to it and the action behind it. And we can dominate our dollars.
You can. Because once you change your mind, because see, part of changing your mind too is this, and I'm backtracking a little bit, is that when people call you to say, let's go out to eat,
if
you don't have the money, you just tell them you don't want to go. You ain't going. Y'all have fun.
Yep.
Y'all have fun. Because you, and part of that detox and decluttering, then you set a new goal here that you're going to have money. You're going to have money. So that going, if you didn't bought $500 worth of groceries, and need to going out nowhere to eat, nowhere. There isn't. $500? You got everything you need to eat. Go where? For what? For who?
All right. We'll say ouch, 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 right. Put the commitment to it and the action behind it, and we can dominate our dollars.
Dominate our dollars. You dominate your dollars. When folks call and say, hey, we going to so-and-so on Friday, so-and-so, so-and-so. That ain't in your game. You just tell them, nah, y'all have fun. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because you got a goal here. You're going to dominate your dollars, because dominating your dollars is creating the cash flow and having the cash flow, because you're dominating your dollars. So dominating your dollars means that you are sticking to a plan. We got a known wallet here. This is my priority. I've only allotted $100 a month for eating out. I've already exceeded that budget. I can't go. You ain't got to tell them that. You just tell them no. You're not going to go.
Right.
So dominating our dollars means then we have a priority. We are then allocating and putting our money where it's going to benefit us. That we are paying ourselves first in our savings, in our emergency fund, in our 401k, in our Roth IRA. Dominating your dollars means that I am lessening my debt. I am lessening the pressure on me of paying other people and them getting interest from me. Because when I pay them interest, that is a penalty. But if I am getting interest from a savings, Roth IRA, 401k, I got a reward. That's dominating your dollars.
Absolutely.
That's dominating your dollars. Then when you have more disposable income, you go get you one of those CDs like my credit union is offering and throw $1,000 in there and let it sit for 20 months and have money. Dominating your dollars means that you are in control.
Absolutely.
You are in control. You are dictating everything, because money does not come with instructions. You have to direct it where it is to go. And that is dominating your dollars. We have so many opportunities out here to dominate our dollars. The government is providing opportunity. If you are working in corporate America, the federal government, I posted the other day, IRS has raised the limits on the amount of money you can put away tax deferred for your retirement in a 401k, 457B, or 403B. And if you're over 50, like I am, they have raised the traditional 401k limit to $22,500 for the year, and they have increased the catch-up contributions for those over 50 to $7,500. Put those two together, that's 30 grand for the entire year.
Yeah.
Plus 5 to 6% matching and compound interest, dominating your dollars.
Yeah. And then slide, like, and dominate your dollars, then slide over. If you have whole life policies or index universal life policies, those policies, take time to dump money into those, because that helps you to dominate your dollars on the long run in, and it then produces tax-free dividends for you
Exactly.
over time. So that's another long-term strategy that you can add. We have to really always look at what's the immediate, do we need to sell some things, get our hustle, get bake cakes, whatever we do to do the immediate money. But then when we take some of the immediate money and put it into the long-term strategies, it can then help us with lifetime income payments and disbursements down the road. And then and then we don't have to worry about who's going to put us away. We have some money to work with while we're here, and not leaving sad faces twice. Sad because we left people alone, ALONE, and alone, ALOAN.
Exactly. Because we dominate our dollars when we are in the center right here. We are the brain. We're the brain. We're the core of it. And so it's us and that income, because we are the only engine to go get the income. Right, Ayanna? We're the engine to go get it.
Absolutely.
So then when we got it, we then got to flow it into places to work for us. We've got to set our budget priorities here. That is what I said. You got to detoxing bad behavior, because some of you don't have a budget. You just going along. So then we've got to declutter, taking out the bad stuff we don't need. So then when we do that, then we can come here now and dominate our dollars and saying, okay, it's me and the income. I know what the flow is, okay? I got the flow. So here's the flow, y'all. The flow is I got the budget priority here, okay? And if I know what my fixed and variable expenses are, and I'm decluttering these variable out of here. That's credit card debt, auto loan. I'm getting this mess out of my life. Then I've got here insurance. I'm adequately protected, mitigating my risk, okay? That's my body, my life, my health. For your life, you need to have adequate coverage for the loss of income. Loss of income for someone in your family, a spouse dies. Y'all need to know that you are insured and protected there to put a cash infusion back for that loss of income.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right. And then from there, we need to have a tax strategy. The most simple tax strategy, what I just talked about, the 401k. If you are putting money in there, you're getting tax deferred, tax reduction, and tax avoidance. Okay? That's what you get. Then from there, we've got investments. That's investments that go into that 401k in retirement. And so we need to be able to select what we need that's going to benefit us. That's when you at work, they pay people a fee to help you to do that. If you don't understand, you call me or Ayanna, and we can help you get a strategic allocation based on your age, based on your years of service, based on the amount of money that you need. And then last but certainly not least is that we need to flow dollars and do a one-time something into some estate planning here for the arranging and anticipation of the disposal of our property, and also what we want for our final interment. We do. We need to get this done. And stop leaving our families here in a mess with people having to spend money to try to find out something to get something done.
Absolutely.
That is dominating our dollars in all phases of our life. We have protected today, and we have built tomorrow and planned for the day that we're not here, because we have filed a document that will speak to all parties that need to know. So for cash flow, you got to detox and take out this negative financial behavior, all this overspending, all this unconscious spending, all this swiping and signing, S&S for SSI. Swiping and signing for showing status to impress. Okay? You got to quit that. Leave that alone. That's detox. Leave that behavior alone. You ain't impressing nobody. If you look at the stuff on Instagram, people in Photoshop these photos, they only showing you the best part of their life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they're not showing you how they got it, and they're not showing you what's behind it.
Correct. So exactly. Detox is negative behavior. Stop living paycheck to paycheck and start being real. Detox that behavior and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. I cannot live this way anymore. And then declutter. Take out what you don't need. Take out these negative financial activities. Get out of this debt. Credit cards first, auto and mortgage. You want to live a debt-free life. Okay? I'm not saying that you can't ever get it, but don't make it a way of life. Let me say something right here, Ayanna, particularly like we were talking about those mortgages in a home.
Yes.
I want to come on the record here and say something to you all. With these homes out here, and I can talk this because I'm sitting at my kitchen table now in my home that I own outright. And so what I want y'all to understand is this. If you have sat there and paid a mortgage for 20 years and you paid principal and interest to that lender, you got to look at the fact that if you still owe on that home after making 240 payments, you need to look at your total cost of ownership. So I want you to think about it, that principal and interest times 240. How much money have you laid out on the home? I know you've laid out more than what you actually purchased it for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we got to be smarter. That is sort of a negative financial behavior there. Yes, we had to get the mortgage, but even though it was for 30 years, don't mean we have to take 30.
Yeah.
Because the longer you draw out paying the lender, the more money the lender is making than you are. Okay? So we need to look at this, what I call TCO, total cost of ownership. You may have purchased, say, the house for $400,000. You put down 20%, that's $80,000. You finance $320,000. Okay? That's in today's market. Say the interest rates are 5.6% and you finance that for 30 years. The interest alone is $341,000. Add that to the $320,000 you finance, that's $661,000 when you pay $400 for the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Total cost of ownership. We need to look at this. We need to look at this, and that's a negative financial behavior there. We got to look at paying these mortgages off because our mortgages are our largest payment in our budget. And when we pay that off, I can tell you now, yeah, you're gonna have a great cash flow, an excellent cash flow. You will dominate your dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your largest debt is gone. You will dominate your dollars, and you can then flow money all over to your benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. And then you say your third thing. I love that when you said we'll dominate our dollars, and that's just been the theme throughout our talk. We will dominate our dollars when we do these things and get I like to say our balanced plate. You don't have all greens, you don't have all starch, you don't have all sweets and all that good stuff. You have a balanced meal we all have to think about it. And
we got to think about it. Not only think, Ayanna, but I'm gonna go to Proverbs 14:23. In all labor, there is profit. And out of chattel, there is poverty. And when I talk labor, let's talk it as a business owner and also working for someone. You've been working 10, 15, 20 years, laboring in that job. So you should reap personal gain. And then profit is about my investment in it and what's the excess that I've gained from it. So we are getting paid in our businesses, getting paid in our jobs. So you've gotten personal income. What have you done? What have you done with what you have reaped from that income? What have we done with it? Have we leveraged it? Have we maximized that? Have we harnessed our power to dominate our dollars?
Wow.
We got to start doing, got to quit talking out here and get to doing. I can tell you all day about detox, declutter, and dominate. But you have got to start, you got to start it here and believe it and know you can do it. Because we just dropped how to do it.
Correct.
We just dropped how to do it. So you got it in your hands if you wrote it down here. You got how to do it. You've heard it. Or you go back and watch this and you come back and write it down. Because it is about doing, not just saying, but doing.
No, we want to lose weight. You can't do my sit-ups for me.
No, I cannot. I cannot. I can cheer Ayanna on to do them, but I can't do them for her. Because
no,
if I do them for me, it's gonna change my body. It's not gonna change hers.
we'll change mine. No.
It's not gonna change. So
Wow.
you are the gatekeeper on this. 65 days. Detox the negative behavior. What do I not need to take with me in 65 days?
Right.
What do I not need when it comes to my money or whatever, or other things in your life too? Because whatever going on in your life impacting your money, and what's happening with your money impacting your life.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what do you need to detox and get it up out of here? It's a toxin and it's stopping you, and let it go. Only you know. Only
Right.
you know.
Right. And if we don't know, and we need to sit down, and that's why we said we're here to sit down and talk through some things. And if I say, okay, here, I'm going to talk, but look, let me refer you to Miss Oliver, because she'll help you dig in and really uncover, because it's all about coaching us to be the best persons that we can be. It basically is. It just is. I mean, that's even when you want weight loss. It's still about money. We want money gain, weight loss, so we don't want to lose any more money. Don't want to maybe gain any more weight. We want to switch it around. But either way, it does tie in with all the three things that you gave tonight. As we're wrapping up, it all requires discipline. So that's a fourth D.
Yes.
That you get the detoxing and dominating your dollars and decluttering and all that is still
discipline to get to the destiny.
Yes.
There we go. 50.
Add that to your lineup. I love it. But woo, we could talk. Oh my goodness, we could talk for hours and hours, literally, because it's something that we're passionate about and just want to help all of us navigate to where we need to go. So,
yes, because I have been there. I have been there with the toxic mindset with my money. I've been there with the negative behavior. Robin, Peter, and Paul, Sarah, John, everybody to go and get one. Because here's why. Because instead of focusing on the necessities, I was focusing on the niceties.
Yeah. Well, people say ouch or amen. Which one?
Yeah. That's where I was going. And so then I was wanting it more than to make sure everything else was done, than to have an emergency fund. I told a lady yesterday that interviewed me, I had prayed to God, Ayanna, for safety, security, and stability, and he gave it to me with my career, with a great salary, all of that. And he nudged me and said, I've given it to you. Why are you off track? Off track with this debt. Had the negative behavior, so I had to detox it. And then I had to declutter and cut all of that stuff out of there. And then, I still got off track again, but I came back. He nudged me again. And then I got on track and dominated the dollars. And I was able to dominate the dollars. And then dominating those dollars enabled me to sit here now, being retired 8 months with not a fear in the world about money.
And that is a testimony totally all within itself.
So I've been there. I've been there with you, what you're doing with the money and the game and stuff with shopping. I invented the game. I know the game. But you can come out the game, but you can still enjoy it too when you have the money to do it. It's not that you won't enjoy life. It's just you put other priorities first. And then if you have this, you can go enjoy it and not have any guilt. Because see, that's what happens to us. We get that guilt. And that guilt will override us. And then we start to do other things to get comfort, to forget the guilt. When we got to detox that and say, I just can't do this now. I had no problems when I was on the journey telling my friends I couldn't go. I wasn't going to go. I had no problem with that. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Because I knew where I was headed.
Yeah.
And that's what we stop doing, is looking outside of ourselves, wondering what people think. One thing you need to learn, what other folks think about you ain't none of your business.
No.
You need to get your household in order. Detox, declutter, and dominate your dollars.
Absolutely. Well, those are the 3 Ds. 3D. We're gonna live it out in 3D. I tell you, Miss Rita, as always, oh my goodness, like I said, we can go on and on. We don't have to come back for part 3 as we get a look.
Well, yeah, we probably need to come back in the new year.
Yeah, we
And
come back
see,
in the new year.
come back in the new year and see how people doing, because they got 65 days now to go and start to change. You ain't gonna change everything in 65 days, no.
Correct.
But you can do the very, you can detox, you can detox and declutter. And if you start to do that by, I would say, once you get into 2023 and have done that work, I'm gonna say probably by February, March, you'll hit your stride. You'll be starting to dominate, because with the less people you are paying out, the better for you. You'll have more.
We give ourselves a raise when we have less going out. That's the bottom line. We give ourselves a raise when we have less debt going out. Well, again, this has been amazing. We have how we can get in touch with you. What's your website again? So we make sure that we have the website that people can look you up and find you all on social media and all of that. So
sure. Well, you can find me on social media here on my page, Rita Oliver. And then my website is Rita Oliver. So Sonia says she's detoxing and decluttering.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can find that's fantastic, Sonia. Fantastic. So that right there has already started, because she said I'm detoxing, because so she made the decision. She's already. So, but you can get me at Rita Oliver, SOS.com, RITAOLIVER, SOS.com. And then for my final retirement planning boot camp for 2022, if you see the bit.ly link behind Money Strategist, that is the link to register for that on November the 15th. That'll be my last one for 2022. Then I'll start them back up in 2023. If you are near retirement, you have questions, I highly suggest you come to the boot camp, because we get very serious and intense in the boot camp, as we should. It's a boot camp about you understanding your retirement and what you got to do for you.
Yeah, make sure that you put that in the comments, Miss Rita, for the boot camp, so I can then copy it back out to every spot that we're on, and we really thank you. Oh my God, it's just I'm excited, and I see people just commenting and thank you all for joining and coming on, and I know you found some value. So please make sure that if you have further questions, just reach, DMs and let us know what's going on, or just say, hey, I need to touch bases with you. Either one of you, we are here to help you. Okay, great. We have that showing out in our comments, so that you can click on that. And those people that are coming up with retirement, we need to talk about these things so we can get some understanding, because oftentimes we don't understand the fullness of how it really looks.
I mean, it's a major life event. It's complex, but if you start early, it can be simple. And something a lady that interviewed me yesterday asked, she said, money, that taboo subject, nobody wants to talk about it. We keep it close. She said, where do we start to peel back the layers? And I told her, we start with the questions we learned in grade school: the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why, and the how. That's what you need to put on a sheet of paper. And who you already know is you. And then the what. How are we sitting in this amount of debt when we paycheck to paycheck? That's your what. And then your why is, we got to get out of it to have a future so we can retire and not be suffering. And the when is, it's going to be dictated by when you get out of this debt. And then the where is right now. And then the how is, how do we then build retirement assets? And that's when you come and visit with Ayanna or me.
Absolutely. Well, we totally thank you. And we will be back in 2023. Look, we're going to get free in 2023. We come with a slogan already.
That's a new one already.
We're going to be debt free in 2023, on our way to doing that and assessing it and making a dent in something is better than just looking at it, and it's to keep making a dent in us. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And as I say, as we close, as we come down to we're gonna thank Miss Rita again, and we'll talk to you in just a few moments. But we want to thank her just again, and she's got no contact information in here. Please make sure that you reach out. Okay, all right, just hold tight, Miss Rita, and We will see you back in 2023. Well, this has been, oh my goodness, so amazing. Of course, Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. I've been your host this evening, but I tell you, it's been life-changing, eye-opening, and something that we need to put all of our strategies in place so that we can be better and better together and hold each other accountable so that our money won't run us. We can run it and do the things we need to do. And as I say on the show every week, remember that money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. So let's make sure that we are talking about our money as our money is talking, and that we do something about it and we do something with it. So make sure that you have a great evening, and like, share, and comment, and connect with us today.